never let me just do me.
Yeah, Dad, why won't you let your teenage boy just do him? Probably because he'd make a mess, as one does when they do themselves. Space Jam: A New Legacy, released in 2021 in theaters and on HBO Max, and is directed by Malcolm D. Lee, who has also directed such films like Undercover Brother, Soul Men, Scary Movie 5, Barbershop and the Next Cut, and Girls Trip. And really, only one of those would be considered good. And this film is starring LeBron James, Don Cheadle, the whole Looney Tunes squad, and really every character that is owned by Warner Brothers. I'm gonna try not to spoil all the cameos that we get in this film, but there are some really good ones, and I kind of just want to go back and watch it again just to get all of the cameos that were in the background. LeBron James is a very famous basketball player. The heck I say. But he's also trying his best to be that thing that many athletes fail to be, a parent. Trying to force the coaching that he received as a child onto his kids and force them to play basketball. Even though his middle child, Dominic, has more of a knack for creating video games than playing b-ball. LeBron James has a meeting with executives from Warner Brothers to sign a multi-year contract doing a bunch of media for them with a very sophisticated and cool algorithm known as Algorithm. James, however, turns down the offer, so Algorithm digitizes LeBron James and his son Dominic and forces them to play in a version of a basketball game that Dominic had created. There's only one group of animated characters that have ever played the game of basketball, the Looney Tunes. And we all remember that epic encounter when the Looney Tunes defeated the Monster Squad with the help of Michael Jordan. That is a film that defines my childhood. We watched it all the time as kids. Teachers would play it all the time during breaks or big holiday gatherings to keep all of us kids, you know, quiet and entertained. And we had heard rumblings over several years that they were trying to make a Space Jam 2. They just never got around to making it. Whether it was because the story wasn't there or because they just didn't have another basketball star at the peak, at the pinnacle of just stardom that Michael Jordan was. Really, in the 90s, it was Michael Jordan and then everyone else. That was the thing to watch, was a Chicago Bulls basketball game because Michael Jordan was playing. But then all of a sudden comes this little guy by the name of LeBron James, who basically just rules and destroys at everything. Seriously, how many championships has this guy won? And with how many teams? I mean, seriously. I remember I was so obsessed with basketball in the 90s, I would follow it in the mid-2000s. But sadly, I dropped out of it, and I've been wanting to get back into watching basketball, but you don't realize how intimidating that statement is. Because I know no one, and I know nothing, and just to jump in trying to get a sense of who is good, who is bad, it's very stressful, and it's the only reason why I've stayed away from getting back into basketball on a regular basis. But I do know that LeBron James is like the best player right now and in the past like 10 years. So Warner Brothers finally had their next star here in LeBron James to star in their next Space Jam movie, and you know what? He does a much better job than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan just kind of showed up and did his basketball thing, but when it came to the acting abilities, they surrounded him with a lot of great talent. Wayne Knight, Bill Murray, all of these definitely elevated the scenes that Michael Jordan was in. But here LeBron James was able to carry his own. There was actual emotions and actual line readings in this film from him. I'm impressed. When it comes to athletes turned actors, you typically don't get that. It's also supported by a better script than the first Space Jam movie. Whereas in the first one, Michael Jordan was just, you know, like the best athlete and would travel around and golf and play baseball and eventually back to basketball and never really spent time with his kids or family. Never really had a conversation with them, which I'm sure represented a lot from real life. But here the story is painting LeBron James to be a parent and a family man, or at least trying to. And he has conversations. The whole conflict is with his children, in particular his middle son Dominic. And I can relate to that. I'm a middle child, and we usually get shit on. My older brother was mom's favorite, my younger brother was dad's favorite. And here's me, I had the dog. Same thing goes for Dominic here. James is trying to force his teachings and his mentality, everything that he knows, that he received from his parent figures, his coaches growing up, is to instill basketball into his life. And I think he does like playing it, but in terms of where he wants to go with his life, that's not his dream, that's not his aspiration. He wants to build video games, and actually, he's pretty damn good at it. So good that Don Cheadle's Al-G Rhythm takes his video game and creates it and spins it for his own, and holds everyone hostage. Let's also talk about Don Cheadle as the villain here. He is fantastic, way better than Danny DeVito in the original. He's menacing, he is calculating, he's hilarious, and he's also chilling to the bone. And his whole plan, his whole scheme, everyone who watches the game, whether it's a Warner Brothers character or it's someone tuning into the live stream, if you are there, you are going to be stuck there for eternity if his little goon squad wins. I like that. It raises the stakes than what we got in the original Space Jam movie, where it was really just the Looney Tunes who would have been affected by it. Needless to say, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun, it was cute, it's a really fun time. And going from planet to planet in the cyberverse of Warner Brothers, and checking out all of these amazing characters. I watched this movie with my wife, and she's like, wow, I didn't realize how many characters and IPs Warner Brothers owns. Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, DC, the Justice League, Rick and Morty for crying out loud, and just a small little spoiler, everyone that I mentioned there do show up in this movie. And it's really fun watching the final basketball game, because in the background, the audience is all of the Warner Brothers characters. Well, half the Warner Brothers characters and half the world people tuning in. But they're all real-life versions of the characters, so they're like people with the makeup on, basically street performers of these characters. Like there's Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze, and his little bath ice robe in there. Danny DeVito's Penguin. We have the Adam West and Burt Ward Batman and Robin. I even saw Clockwork Orange people for a second, which this is a kid's movie. How did they get in there? I like the overall style and the atmosphere of our final basketball game. Whereas in the original, they just played straight up basketball, and there were moments in there, even as a kid, I remember thinking, like, they're scoring way more than the final score, which was like 73 to 72 or something like that. Something low scoring. But here, they actually get up to 1,000 points because it's a computerized game, so you get style points. You get extra bonus points for bouncing it off the rim several different times. I'm like, yes, this makes more sense to me. And the transition from the Looney Tunes in their animated renderings into the 3D real-life renderings, I think is seamless and looks really nice. It's nice to see Lola Bunny again. She hasn't really done anything since the original Space Jam film. I love her introduction on Themyscira, trying to become an Amazon warrior and going through the trials. That was awesome. Actually, on top of that, whenever we go from planet to planet and universe to universe, we hear the scores, the soundtracks from all of those universes. You have Danny Elfman's Batman score, John Williams' Superman shows up here, Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL's Wonder Woman theme. Whenever I hear those themes, just this little butterfly just starts flapping around inside of me. I get so happy. I'm not sure if the whole cyberverse that they were calling it, where Don Cheadle plays and operates and is trying to take over the world, I'm not sure if that's a dig on the Snyderverse hashtag that's going around right now. The restoring the Snyderverse hashtag that's going around right now because we want Zack Snyder to finish his Justice League trilogy with Justice League 2 and 3. I'm almost certain that that's a little dig at the fans who are supporting that hashtag from Warner Brothers. Cyberverse, Snyderverse, I see it, but you make the connection for yourself if it's there. I think this movie is a really fun time. There are actual stakes in this film. I love the connection. I love the story here. I love the resolution that we get with LeBron James making up with his kid. I mean, that's what you want from a family film. You want to see family here, unlike Michael Jordan, who is completely absent from his family for the entire first movie. I definitely recommend this. Go check it out. I'm going to give Space Jam a new legacy, 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm watching next, and we're still here in the month of July and trying to get through a bunch of the recommendations that I've received over the last couple of years, so let's take a look. Overlord! or Overlord, I should say. Recommended by Everett Inquisitor. Thank you very much, Everett. I had heard of this film. I think it's a zombie war film that I've been meaning to watch. I have owned for a couple of years, just never put it in to watch. I have heard really great things though, so we'll check it out next time. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do. Just attach your movie recommendation with your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, give you a shout out on the channel, and get my review of it published as quickly as I possibly can. So guys, have you seen Space Jam: A New Legacy? What did you think about it? Do you like it more than the original Space Jam or not? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Overlord. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.